jungle, feast on chaos, crave the grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Can't stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high-octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Pulling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Running the dreams, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this afternoon. As the Metalheads Truck Series gets ready to go to battle here this evening, it is the Big Red Customs 150 live from Dover International Speedway. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we get ready to go to battle. We get ready to duke it out here in this one. This is going to be another fun day of racing action. Going to be a lot of great battles out there on the Speedway. Everyone looking to try to put themselves up and into victory lane, including Daddy Duck coming in, showing the love over there on YouTube, says, boogity, boogity, hopefully I can get a good finish in the 46 for once. Well, we're hoping to see you get a good run and a good drive out there on the Speedway there, Daddy Duck, and hopefully we can see a lot of these drivers get the finishes that they've been looking for, that they've been hoping for here night after night after night here on our Monday afternoons. As here we go, battling again this evening. A lot of action, a lot of back and forth, and a lot of craziness that can unfold in a quick hurry here in 150 laps of racing action live from Dover International Speedway. This is going to be a ton of fun. This is going to be a great day of racing action. Let's see if we can get a good look at these cars. They're kind of broken apart here. This is definitely the worst straightaway to look at these race cars. There we go. Starting on the pole in the Metalheads Muleburger Custom Homes Toyota, the 51, it's Joshua Moore who will start in that pole position. To his outside, it's the Celsius 27 of Nick Gardner, and starting in third in that number 318 machine, that is Matthew Cantanea there in position number 3 on the Speedway. Cantanea back there in that third spot, as we do see Justin Rodden. Rodden will start there in position number 4. The number 5 right is the Razor Machine. That is Matt Hayden starting in position number 5, and his 5 right to his outside in the QH Design number 97. That is Colton Hardy starting in position number 7 in the Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing number 15, that is a Michael Madden. To his outside, the 92 right, that's the Goldberg, number 92 of Clinton Woodby. Starting in position number 9 in the Ghost Energy, the Bubblegum Ghost Energy machine, that is Skylar Berry. To his outside is that 00, the Carolina Collision ride. That is the beautiful looking machine out there on the Speedway of Nate Cogdell. Cogdell will start there in position number 10. And then we see the rock solid rigs. Sparkle and shine, number 40 ride. That is that 40 machine of Nathan Nixon, starting there at 11th. To his outside is that 13 ride, the Asheville Outlaws. Fan Attack, number 13 of Mark Beverly. And we see the number 3 of Keith Branson. Coop Reed back there in row number 7. Then we see that 71 ride. That is Austin Gustafson starting there in 15th. You'll have the 87, that Ridge Power Sports ride. That is the KR Gutters machine of Jonathan Herbert. John Herbert starting there in 16th. Then we see Rusty Modesty, Nicholas Lawrence back there in 17th. Charles Gettings, Daigle Down running out our top 20. Then we see that 196. That is the ride of Caleb Kleiner there in that Sweet Victory Apparel's ride back there in 21st. Bruce Bernard, Kevin Winker, Grayson McKee, Joe Bennett, Jason Steptoe, Ashley Ellison Jr., and Chuck Kinger bringing up the rear of the field as here we go into battle as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation. And you can see these drivers already storming down the back straightaway down into corner number 3. Nice and easy down through 3 and out of 4. In leading lap number 1 here this afternoon, it is that Muhlenberger Custom Homes number 51 of Joshua Moore. Moore in front, and he is looking for more. He wants to be that reflection of perfection, trying to hold these drivers off all evening long, looking to see if he can put himself up and into victory lane. Nick Gardner back there in second. Matthew Kentanea back there in position at number 3 on the Speedways. Kentanea back in position number 3 on the Speedway. Matt Hayden up and into 4th. Justin Rodden in that WWE, that Monday Night Raw ride to 0-1. Slides back to big with Michael Madden there in 6th. Then we see Colton Hardy back there in that UH Design 79 ride. Clinton would be Mark Beverly door-to-door here, as unfortunately the 92 sliding backwards here a little bit. That 13 ride of Mark Beverly continuing to move forward. Up 4 spots early on in this race in the Asheville Outlaws. Number 13 truck looking very strong early in this race. Now you do see Nate Cogdell. He's moving around that 92 ride as 92 still just down on that inside lane. Unfortunately losing spots here rapidly as there goes that 40 of Nathan Nixon. Nixon going to slide himself now inside the top 10. Skylar Berry looking to try to gain a couple extra more spots there in that Sonic Graphic Designs 46, that Ghost Energy ride right there behind that 92 of Clinton Woods in position number 12. John Herbert there in 13th with Nicholas Lawrence back there in 14th. We see one driver down the racetrack here. Look out, it's the 17 ride, the Gators machine of Bruce Bernard. Having some issues there. Bernard having some tough luck early on in this one. Heavy contact. Let's see if we can take a look back and see this issue is down out of corner number 2. Looks like he's just going to lose the handle of this number 17 truck. That Florida Gators ride, unfortunately, going to run into some issues. Watch this truck right here. Gets loose, loses the rear end, washes down the racetrack. Hard contact into that inside fence. Heavy left front damage there. Looking up as he comes back up the racetrack. The 42 of Kevin Winker. The 14 right there. Coop Reed both able to get onto the binders, avoid contact, and keep themselves from hitting that 17 ride and making a bigger wreck out there on the speedway. Joshua Moore continues to lead the way. Nick Gardner right there in second. Matthew Catania, they were in position number 3 is Cantanea there in that 3rd spot. Then we see Matt Hayden, Michael Madden now up into 6 as he's worked himself around that 0-1 of Justin Rodden is early on. Some good green flag laps being laid down. These drivers doing a fantastic job here as Brandon Noah says hashtag Winker Nation cheered on K-Dub out there on the speedway. Winker Nation in full force cheered on their driver here this afternoon. Is some great racing action. These guys doing a good battle here early on in this race, man. Some good green flag laps. We love to see it. We love to see these green flag laps being laid down and drivers getting an opportunity to really test their cars out, see what their cars are doing, trying to lay some rubber down onto this racetrack, and having a lot of early caution flags really setting the tone here this afternoon and how these drivers are going to have to try and play out that strategy game, as you just quite never know when these yellow flags are going to come out, when we're going to have some issues there on the speedway, and what they're going to have to do to try to figure out some different things, some different strategies out there on the speedway to try to put themselves into a good position here this afternoon as we have the Big Red Customs logo. Let's get that added in here as well. We haven't added this in, so let's get this added in here. I knew something was missing. We were missing that logo. Where are we here with it? There it is. I believe this is the one we're looking for right here. So let's get this logo added in the beautiful Big Red Customs 150 here this afternoon. There it is. Oh, baby, that's a heck of a badge, heck of a show right here, and showed it there to the Big Red Customs designs and die-cast there and everything else, making sure that these drivers have a home to race through this afternoon. Huge shout out there to our sponsor of this afternoon's festivities as the Big Red Customs 150 live here from beautiful Dover International Speedway with the Metalheads Racing League as these drivers put on a great show as the Plus EV Racing says, let's go Plus EV. Plus EV out there on the Speedway. You love to see the EV Racing group out there on the Speedway battling and duking it out as we do see Colton Hardy in his 97 ride rolling there in position number 6. He's going to try to work his way up towards that top 5. Unfortunately starting to lose a little ground to them as Justin Rodden unfortunately continue to slide backwards here. Down 3 spots early in this race, back in that 7th position. Mark Beverly still hanging on to position number 8. Cogdale, Nathan Nixon, door back here. This is a battle for position number 9. And now you look at the 40 right. Look at, oh! Baby Nathan Nixon, what a save right there. Maybe a little contact to that outside and inside fence, but somehow or another, that rock-solid Riggs ride able to keep that car pointing in the right direction, able to save it right there. He is going to lose a couple spots as he's going to give up that fight with Nate Cogdell. Slides behind Clifton Woodby and Skyler Berry, and unfortunately all the way back now into position number 12. He's got Nicholas Lawrence right there in his back bumper early on. Lawrence, one of the hard chargers out there on the racetrack right now, up 5 positions in that 8 machine in the Old Spice ride, trying to race his way towards the front of the field. Is John Herbert back there in 14th, Rusty Modesty there in 15th, then we see Keith Prince to his outside. This is a great battle back here for that 15th position. Modesty not wanting to give it up there in that Sinclair Dyno Care number 6 ride. With that 3 machine there to his outside, they're starting to get a little log jammed as here comes Daniel down. Here comes that 71 of Austin Gustafson in that beautiful HendrickCars.com number 71 ride. Try to channel his inner Kyle Larson out there on the Speedway after Kyle Larson going on a dominant run there at Bristol. He's over to do the same thing here at one of NASCAR's short track races here this afternoon, trying to see if he can get that 71 truck up towards the front of the field here. Unfortunately, right now stuck back there in that 18th position as Caleb Kleiner back there in position number 19. Grayson McKee up 5 spots as well in that McDonald's 48 ride there in 20th. Charles Gettings in the 96 rolls back there in 21st with Coop Reed there in 22nd. Jason Steptoe back there in that beautiful running on scuffs number 50 ride in 23rd with Joe Bennett in the 05 back there behind him in 24th. K-Dub Kevin Winker there in 25th, and Bruce Bernard, he's out there on the racetrack again here in that Gators number 17 ride as Chuck Kinder and Ashley Ellison Jr. not out there on the Speedway. Both these drivers did load into the sim here this afternoon. Unfortunately, not jumping out onto the racetrack to join us for the festivities this evening. Back scored in the 27th and 28th position. Is out in front, continuing to lead the way. It's that Muleburger Custom Homes number 51 of Joshua Moore. Moore hooked up here this afternoon. Nick Garner right there, though, sticking to his back bumper. These two starting to separate themselves from the rest of the field. Now a 1.5 second between Nick Garner and our 3rd place driver, Matthew Catania back there in position number 3. He's now trying to hold on to that 3rd spot as Matt Hayden taking a peek down to his inside, see if he can get that Razor number 5 right down in around the 318 machine. And here comes that 97 of Golden Hardy. Hardy up inside the top 5. He's looking for more out there on the Speedway as Justin Rodden, Michael Madden both sliding backwards here. Madden actually down a couple spots there as he slid all the way back down into 7th, giving up that top 5 run. And for the Sparkle and Shine Anything EC number 15 ride, he's trying to hang on to that thing right now as here comes that 13 of Mark Beverly. Beverly down low, going to make quick work of that 15 ride and quickly take over position number 7. Now he's going to work on that 0-1 of Mr. Justin Rodden. Rodden, unfortunately, he's going to slide back another spot here as well, and it's going to open up the door down low for Michael Madden to try to get one of those spots back as he tries to work down to the inside of that 0-1 ride as Mark Beverly making some moves here, now up into that 6th position. He's just outside the top 5 now on the Speedway. Skyler Berry back inside the top 10 as he rolls there in 9th after getting around Clinton Woodby and Nate Cogdell as Cogdell back in 11th. Nathan Nixon there in 12th. Nicholas Lawrence, Keith Prince. This battle still raging on as Prince able to clear that number 6 machine to Rusty Modesty. Modesty slides back a few spots, and that allows Daniel Dow now to try to go to work on this 3 machine. You see that 71 of Austin Gustafson. He's right there ready to strike as well as early on, man. These guys doing a heck of a show, heck of a run here. Joshua Moore out in front, continue to lead the way, and this time down across the start-finish line, we will see lap 25 up and onto the board. So they're clicking off these laps in a quick hurry here this afternoon. These guys put on a show for us out there on the speedway. Some great racing action here this afternoon. Every single one of these drivers putting together a great race here at Dover International Speedway, and already clicking off 25 laps of this race. Now, I'm not sure where we're going to see, if we're going to see stage breaks here. I was trying to look at that and see if there was stage breaks in here. I do believe we got them in our thing here. Maybe not. Do we have them here? Dover, stage break is at lap number 30. So stage break at lap 30. So these drivers, they know that they only got 5 more laps left to go here before this first stage is going to be thrown. So that one stage break about to come out in just a couple more moments here from Dover International Speedway. And for these drivers, they're just trying to, keep their cars in one piece, not trying to cause any issues, not trying to make some problems out there on the speedway. Trying to hang on here until the end of this stage where they can come down pit side, try to get some fuel, some tires, maybe a couple changes to their race cars, a couple of wrenches, trying to work on these things and see if they can figure out a little bit of something and see if they can race their way back up inside the top 5 or up towards the front of the field. As we do see Colton Hardy, seems like he's got a pretty good long run speed out of this 97 truck as he's now worked himself up into the 4. Same with Mark Beverly. Beverly hooked up here this afternoon in that AC Delco. The Asheville Outlaws number 13 ride. It looks like the AC Delco ride, but it's the Asheville Outlaws machine there of Beverly in that 5th position. It's down across the line. They will click off another lap, and we inch closer and closer to the end of stage number 1 here this evening. Is out in front. It is Joshua Moore. Moore continuing to look for more as he has led every single lap so far here this afternoon. He has been a man on a mission here this evening as Dragon 1 Brett coming in, showing the love over there on YouTube or on Twitch. Dropping that follow there on the Twitch stream. Says, yo, what's up, brother? How are you, Dragon? How you doing this afternoon? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Monday evening as there you go, our final lap of stage number 1. Matthew Moore, nice and easy down the back straightaway here at Dover International Speedway. Will round corner number 3 and nice and easy out at corner number 4. Back down across the line. He will pick up stage number 1 here this afternoon. So the stage win will go to that 51 of Joshua Moore. Nick Gardner back there in second. Matthew Catania back there in position number 3 with Colton Hardy, Mark Beverly, Matt Hayden, Skylar Berry, Justin Rodden, Michael Madden, and Clinton Woodby rounding out our top 10, all earning some stage points here this evening, and those are very valuable each and every single one of these races. Try to keep yourself out of trouble, try to keep yourself in a good position out there on the speedway as Drake and Brett coming in with the hydrate. Oh, brother. We're always hydrated up here in the broadcast booth. Thank you to Monster Energy up in here as here we go. We're going to get these drivers down pit side. They're going to get some work done to their race cars, make sure that their cars are absolutely perfect here this evening, making sure that they get those tires and any kind of changes that they may need, as some drivers definitely struggling there, especially during that 30-lap green flag run. That really gave these drivers a taste of what they need to expect and how they need to run this race and what changes they need to make out there on the speedway. Dragon says, how are you doing? I'm always doing good, brother. Always doing good up here in the chat, Dragon, as he says, how is it going so far? So far, so good, brother. No caution flags except for the stage break. Nothing but good, hard green flag racing. It's exactly what we like to see up here in the broadcast booth. Nothing but good, hard racing out there on the racetrack. Because here you go. Everybody going to make their way down pit side except for that 17 ride. Bruce Bernard. He's going to stay out on the racetrack. He's going to get that wave around the free pass right there. So you'll get a lap back and try trying to inch himself a little closer to getting back onto the lead lap after running into early issues, getting loose right there out at corner number 2, making hard contact with that inside fence, almost bringing out our first caution flag of the day, but able to keep that car rolling out there on the speedway, not getting the yellow flag, and able to keep on rolling as here we go, the race off pit road. It's a busy one, but it's the 51 of Joshua Moore who's able to keep that race lead. That 51 right out in front, keeping these drivers back there at bay. As Nick Garner there in second, Matthew Catania back there in position at number 3. And then we see Mark Beverly up into 4th. Colton Hardy loses a spot, slides back into 5th. Matt Hayden there in 6th. Justin Rodden, Michael Madden, Clinton Woodby up a spot there down pit road. He'll jump in leapfrog over that 46 of Skylar Berry as Berry will round out our top 10 here when we go back to green flag racing. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be definitely interesting here in this one. Oh, brother, this is going to be fun. This is going to be very, very wild. This is going to be a good race. This is going to be a good show here. You know, getting all these drivers stacked back up, racked back up, and ready to duke it out here once again. Ready to see them go to battle door to door out there on the speedway to see who's going to be able to put themselves into the winner's circle here this evening. No more stage breaks. It's all or nothing here this afternoon. You got to take what you're given, and you got to give a little bit of take out there as well. As it's going to be, you know, back and forth, beating and banging, bumping, elbows up racing here, short track racing here on the concrete in Dover International Speedway. So it's gonna be interesting, to say the least. As these trucks continue to lay laps down, the tires are going to continue to fade away. Drivers are going to have to try to play some different strategy games on when they want to come down pit side, when they want to make those moves and see if they can use the fresh tires to potentially leapfrog some other cats out there on the speedway. Maybe see if they can jump up a couple extra positions out there on the racetrack and move their way forward here and see if they can put themselves into the winner's circle or make the right strategies, or maybe not go with the track and maybe make the wrong strategies and go backwards out there on the speedway. That's always a possibility, but right now it's been shown that this 51 right at Joshua Moore, he's the car to beat. He has been the reflection of perfection. Qualified in that pole position, has led every lap so far, and looking to keep it that way as we go back to battle here at Dover. The 51 back onto the lap pedal, looking to try to pull away here from that 27 of Nick Garner, trying to open up that little bit of breathing room that he had before that stage break, as the 51 out in front, down at a corner number 4, opens up a couple truck lengths, and that's exactly what he was hoping for. Keeping this 27 and Nick Gardner off his back bumper, as Gardner now has a gap between himself and this 318 of Matthew Catania, as Catania rolling there in that 3rd position. Matt Hayden back there in 4th with Colton Hardy, trying to stay inside the top 5 is that QH Design number 97 ride, battling door to door here with the Asphalt Outlaws racing. Number 13 of Mark Beverly is there back and forth out there on the racetrack here for that 5th position. Neither driver wanting to give up a spot there on the speedway. They both want to continue to battle right there against each other, but now you finally see that 13 ride. Good veteran move, maybe electing to kind of settle in here. Maybe let that 97 ride go by, let him burn up his equipment a little bit earlier than what the 13 ride can get, and then try to get him back later on in this race, and not trying to burn up that equipment, running door to door, hurting your exit, hurting your entry, or just making that car out of balance there on the speedways. Michael Madden now has that 0-1 of Justin Rodden down to his inside. Madden trying to hold on to position number 7, but he's going to lose it there as a big run down through 3 and 4 for that WrestleMania Ford. And 0-1 machine of Rodden up and into that 7th spot. Madden back into 8th as he's got his sparkle and shine teammate right there behind him. That is that 2 of Daniel Dow. Then you see that 46 of Skylar Berry. Berry still trying to hold on here to position number 10. He's got a couple drivers right there on his back bumper. They were thinking about trying to maybe go 3-1. Now you do see that Dino Care Sinclair ride. That Sinclair Dino Care number 6 of Rusty Modesty getting a little piece of the outside fences. Now you do see that 40 ride right down low. It's Nathan Nixon looking to try to make a move. His lookout. Oh, the 8 right of Nicholas Lawrence down into the inside fence right there. Got very loose out at corner number 2. Luckily enough, able to catch that ride, keep it rolling in the right direction in the Old Spikes number 8 ride. Able to not really lose too many positions right there. That is a blessing right there, as that could have been a whole lot worse for that Old Spikes ride, and able to keep that car pointed in the right direction. Does lose 8 spot as the Storm Performance 96 ride of Charles Gettings does get around him there. Gettings up and into 13th now on the racetrack as Lawrence falls back to 14th. Clinton Woodby down 7 spots on the racetrack. He's back in that 15th position as Caleb Kleiner back there behind him. John Herbert there in 17th. Nate Cogdell there in the 18th position early on, down 8 spots here for that Carolina Collision Sonic Graphic Designs number 00 machine as Coop Reed there in 19th with Joe Bennett back there rounding out our top 20. Jason Steptoe, Grayson McKee, Keith Prince, Kevin Winker, Austin Gustafson, our top 25 out there on the speedway as Bruce Bernard still looking for a couple more caution flags, hoping to see a few more yellows here as the Welcome to the Swamp, the Florida Gators ride. He rolls there in that 26th position, still a couple laps down, and here he goes, smoke there on the back straightaway. A couple cars turned around and the caution flag will come back out. A pair of teammates tied up here in this one. Looks like Daniel Dow in the 40 ride gonna get together here. So contact right here at a corner number 2. Teammates come together. They try to get checked up. Unfortunately for that, number 6, that Sinclair Dino Care ride of Rusty Modesty. Nowhere there for him to go. As Modesty drives in there, gets a big piece of that number 40 ride in that 2 machine. They all come together down here on the back straightaway. Right there's the contact. Around goes this 2 ride, and then they'll just kind of pile in right there. Unfortunate break, unfortunate contact. Wrong place, wrong time to try to give a bump or try to make a move out there on the speedway. And for these 3 drivers, they get some heavy damage early on in this race. Is right there. There's that contact. Just that little bit of a nudge. Gets that 2 ride loose. Sliding through the corner there. The 40 gets checked up. Trying to avoid him. The 6 ride not realizing that they're checking up. That the 2 ride's going around. Runs into the back end of the 40. Helping him in there even farther. And heavy contact. Heavy damage for all 3 cats down the back straightaway here. And unfortunately, they'll have to come down pit side. Look to get some extreme work. Some extreme measures. Trying to get their cars fixed back up and back out there onto the speedway for that 17 rider, Bruce Bernard. That was definitely a good break for him. Potentially the lucky dog. The free pass try to get him back onto the lead lap here this afternoon. May need another caution flag or 2 after making that green flag pit stop. As some pit strategies here. A lot of different drivers. Some cats electing to keep that track position, stay out there on the speedway. Other drivers coming down pit side like Nick Gardner, who was running in position number 2, kind of pitting off sequence here for that 27 ride. He'll now be scored back in 13th on the racetrack, and unfortunately, you know, he's back quite a ways here. He was rolling in 2nd, now back in 13th for this restart. Definitely going to put him into a tough situation, trying to make moves and trying to race his way back up there towards the front as Joe Bennett, Grayson McKee, Mark Beverly as well also came down pit side. Keith Prince, Jason Steptoe there in the 50 ride down pit side. And then we see Rusty Modesty trying to get that truck repaired. He rolls back out there. Still some pretty heavy front end damage there for that Toyota as he rolls back in 19th. The 8 ride of Nicholas Lawrence back there in 20th with Daniel Dow, Nathan Nixon back there, as well as that 0-1 of Justin Roden. Roden back there. We do see Nixon, Kevin Winker, K-Dub down pit side here. Austin Gustafson rolling back out there onto the racetrack. He scored back in 24th on the speedway, so that's really going to mix things up here, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to make things a little bit more interesting. Having some of these faster cats back there deeper in the field trying to navigate and race their way up towards the front of the pack here is going to make things very interesting out there on the speedway. As man, it's going to be a wild one. It's going to be very fun to see what these guys are going to be able to do. How these fresher tires, say if drivers back there took fresh tires, or maybe they just came down, got some fuel, trying to use it to their advantage late in this race. Nonetheless, if we see this go clean and green, they're going to have about 12 lap betters of worth of fuel, which could make it potentially maybe 1 more or 2 more pit stops here to make it to the end of this race, where other drivers, they may still have to make, you know, multiple extra trip down pit side here. We're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out. As here we go. Back to green flag racing is down through the Geico restart zone. Here we go. Back to battle at Dover International Speedway. The 51 of Joshua Moore trying to pull away his Matthew Catania. They're in that 2nd spot, putting the pressure right onto his back bumper. Here he goes, taking a look down to the inside. The Majula 6 Speed Shop, Sweet Victory Apparel, number 318 down low, looking for the race lead. This is the first time here this afternoon that Joshua Moore has had some help here and some drivers down to his inside, but we're going to quickly see that caution flag come back out. So cautions, breeding cautions here at Dover. Is the yellow flag going to fly here once again? And again, it's deeper in the pack. In the 40 ride of Nathan Nixon, looks like he's just going to lose that rear end. Maybe still deal with that damage, that contact that he got from that last caution flag. Unfortunately, he gets sideways here, just trying to get up and up the speed here. He's going to hop and skip and jump in down through quarter 3. Unfortunately, the truck just goes around, nowhere to go for that 17 ride, man. Heavy hit right there for Bruce Bernard. As Bernard nowhere to go, gets heavy right front damage again on that Florida Gators ride. Let's take another look at it here. Let's jump on board with this 17 ride and see what he can see. As you do see the 6 ride down the back straightaway, also running into problems here. So some more tough breaks out there as the 6 ride down the backstretch gets punted down into the inside fence. Heavy damage there for himself. And then you go the 40, just going to lose the rear end. The 17 tries to get down low, just couldn't get checked up quick enough, and gets a big piece of him right there. Heavy damage for him. Let's take a look back as well here and see if we can take a look and see what happens here. Do that 6 ride is Rusty Modesty. Running into some more issues here. Let's go a little farther back here. Rusty battling, trying to race his way back up towards the front of the field. Got tied up in that last caution flag, and now again down the back straightaway. Going to run into some more problems as it looks like he's just going to get ran over. Looks like the 2 ride of Daniel Dow just going to get in there and give him a shot in the shorts, and it's going to jack this truck up and just spin him around out there on the speedway. Oh, man, that's a tough break right here. Watch that truck. Oh, he gets a little loose right there. Loses some momentum. See the flames already coming out the back end of that 6 ride as he's trying to collect it. The 2 ride on the throttle, trying to carry that momentum down the back straightaway. Unfortunately, didn't realize it quick enough. Couldn't get off the throttle fast enough to avoid contact running into the back end of that 6 ride. Unfortunately, it was a little too late. And for the 6 machine, a Rusty Modesty, more damage as he slams into that inside wall. Heavy contact there for him. And this truck is definitely hurting. It's bruised up pretty badly here after that second hit out there on the speedway. He's going to have to make another trip down pit side to try to get that thing repaired and back out there onto the speedway. As we do see Matthew Catania, Joshua Moore, their score back here now at the rear of the field, as it looks like they also came down pit road right there. So some other drivers making some different strategy calls, and our race leader for the first time here this afternoon is going to change as Joshua Moore makes an unscheduled pit stop. Takes that 51 ride down pit side here. Now score back in 23rd. Matthew Catania right there with him back in 24th. And for our new race leader, it's Matt Hayden. Hayden out in front leading this race. Michael Madden now in second. Colton Hardy there in third. Clinton Woodby, Skylar Berry, our top 5 with Caleb Kleiner there in position number 6. Then we see John Herbert, Coop Reed, Nick Gardner, Nate Cogdell, our top 10 there on the racetrack, getting ready to go back to battle. We see Mark Beverly back in 14th. Justin Rodden, he's there in 17th. Then we see some of our front runners here. The driver that led all these laps before that last caution flag, Joshua Moore, back in 23rd. We'll have to wait and see how he can navigate his way back up through the field and back up into the battle here as we are back to green flag racing. The green flag quickly back out into the air as the 5 ride of Matt Hayden leads us down through 1 and 2 and takes us down the back straightaway. Hands down into core number 3 here in that Razor. Sonic Graphic Designs, number 5 ride is Hayden down through 3 and out of 4 will lead his first green flag lap here this evening. So Matt Hayden at the front of the field has some issues a little deeper in the pack, as again looks like the 17 truck going to run into some more issues, and Bruce is going to take that Florida Gators truck back down pit road here. Obviously still deal with some of that right front damage. The handling of that truck definitely gone. Nathan Nixon also back down pit side here in that 40 ride. So both these drivers having some issues out there on the speedway, as there goes our race leader. Is definitely going to put them a lap or another lap down out there on the racetrack. As Hayden, Michael Madden, Colton Hardy, 1, 2, and 3 out there on the speedway as Clinton Woodby and Skylar Berry now our top 5. As pit strategy really already starting to take shape here. Drivers making some different moves, some different strats coming down pit side, trying to get their cars fixed up and hooked up here this evening as Dalton Wicker. What's good, Wicker? Wicker coming in showing the love, says, what's up, peace? Enjoying the broadcast. I appreciate that, brother. How are you, Mr. Wicker? Hopefully you're having yourself a great Monday. As Shauna Rita, what's good, Shauna? Shauna says, hashtag Winker Nation, cheering on that 42 of Kevin Winker out there as K-Dub. unfortunately, he struggled here this afternoon. He's been back there outside the top 20 for pretty much all afternoon and just really doesn't seem like he's got the speed in that Muehlberger Custom Homes ride. I'm not sure where the speed has gone for this 42, but he's been struggling. He may be washed up now. He's an old man. He's washed up, and maybe time to retire. I'm just kidding. He ain't retiring. K-Dub's going to keep on racing for years, even if he can't be very fast or as fast as his teammate is. The other Muehlberger Custom Homes number 51 ride out there on the speedway. That is Joshua Moore. Moore quickly trying to work his way back up through the field here. Restarted back in 23rd. Now we see this 51 ride make a little contact right there. Look at the 8 of Nicholas Lawrence. Almost going around right there. Oh, brother, a little contact there off the front bumper of Joshua Moore in that 8 ride. Almost going around. Luckily enough, kind of gets bounced back and pointed back in the right direction. Unfortunately, does lose quite a few positions out there on the racetrack. Now scored back in 23rd. As we did see that 51 ride of Joshua Moore take that spot, he jumps up into position number 16 out there on the speedway. Going to look to see if he can get around this 2 ride and put himself back up into the top 15 out there on the speedways. Out in front, leading this race. Last down pit road was lap 32 here for our first 6 drivers on the racetrack. Nick Gardner came down pit side on lap number 44, trying to play that first little bit of pit strategy. Then we saw that quick caution flag. We saw a bunch of other drivers, including Joshua Moore, that number 71 of Austin Gustafson, that 318 machine of Matthew Catania, also coming down pit road there on lap 48. So some different pit strategies here for a bunch of these drivers trying to navigate their way to the front of the field now as they are deeper in the field. And you see this lead that this 5 ride is starting to open. Now Liddy's got some fresh air onto the front nose of that Razor Sonic Graphic Designs ride. Matt Hayden out in front and continuing to lead this race. Continue to try to pull away from everybody else here in this one as the Big Red Customs Diecast 150 here from Dover International Speedway with the Metalheads Truck Series, man, putting on a heck of a show for us this afternoon. A lot of great battles already. A couple different pit strategies really keeping drivers on their toes as Joel Moore, Mr. Moore coming in, cheering on the other Moore out there on the racetrack, cheering on that number 51 of Joshua Moore as Joshua strolls out there on the speedway. We'll take a look back at our early race leaders. He's made a couple more passes now up into that 14th spot of the speedway. He's got that 01 of Justin Rodden right in front of him as he's maybe going to take a look down low here with that 01, see if they can work themselves around that 48 of Grayson McKee. McKee going to try to battle hard here to the outside of that Raw WrestleMania WWE 01 machine, and some great racing here with Matt Hayden out in front. The lead is 1.6 seconds. 1.6 seconds between himself and Colton Hardy. Is Hardy there in position number 2. Then we see Skylar Berry back there in 3rd. Michael Matlin slid back into that 4th position. Here comes Nick Gardner. Gardner in that Celsius Napa Auto Parts number 27 ride. He rolls back there in that 5th position here. He knows that he wants to get that move on, wants to try to get out in front here as well as right there behind him. Coop Reed running into some issues, got a little piece of that outside fence, got very squirrely down the back straightaway. Luckily enough for that 92 of Clinton would be able to get onto the binders there or avoid contact with them, but here comes that number 196, Caleb Clinner there in that Sweet Victory Apparel Majula State Speed Shop. Number 196 right there in that 9th position with Mark Beverly, Nate Cogdell right there as well as Cogdell works down to his inside. Beverly rounding out our top 10 there on the racetrack with Justin Rodden, and now Joshua Moore up into position number 12 on the speedway. So from 23rd up to 12th since that restart in this 51 ride is working his way towards the front of the field, and he's bringing that 318 ride of Matthew Catania right there with him as Catania up into position number 13. He's restarted back in 24th, so him and Moore both driving their way to the front of the field, and maybe that pit strategy will work out perfectly for them, but right now they're going to be hunting down Matt Hayden, Colton Hardy, and potentially this 27 and Nick Gardner as Gardner down pit side on lap 44. Here he is, one of those drivers to first make that pit strategy call to come down a little bit after our stage break. And here's that 27 up and into third here and looking to continue to race his way towards the front of the field. Has 0.6 of a second between himself and Colton Hardy, and about 2 seconds between him and our race leader, Matt Hayden. It's Hayden now starting to open up that lead a little bit more here. It is almost 2 seconds between himself and Colton Hardy as Hardy slides back here just ever so slightly, and it's a 2-second gap between first and second. And Matt Hayden, he's just hoping to see this one go clean and green and potentially have to see some pit cycles here roll around the racetrack and having everyone have to come down pit side and maybe opening up the door for him to use that pit strategy himself, staying out there on the racetrack, getting this big lead and trying to pull away here. Potentially could put him into victory lane this afternoon if we say clean and green, as he's still got 2 seconds between himself and Nick Gardner. But Gardner, with the fresher tires, the better truck, quickly trying to hunt him down out there on the speedway. As the gap was 2 seconds, it's now 1.8 seconds, so about 2/10 quicker that last time around the racetrack. He was actually more closer to 3/10 quicker than Matt Hayden. So Hayden's going to have some company in a quick hurry. As deeper in the field, we see Mark Beverly now up into 7th here. He's got Justin Rodden right there behind him. Is Rodden up into 8th. Caleb Kleiner trying to hang on to that 9th position as Joshua Moore now up inside the top 10 here. Moore, that Muehlberger Custom Homes number 51. Going to take a look down to the inside, see if he can stroll around that 196 Ryan Matthew. Catania going to go right there with him as they both work down low. Now Catania, he's up inside the top 10 after making the move around his Majula St. Speed Shop teammate out there on the Sweet Graphics, no, Sweet Apparel number 196. Am I having a stroke here, chat? The Sweet Victory, that's the word I was looking for. The Sweet Victory Apparel, number 196 out there on the speedway. As that Majula St. Speed Shop truck trying to watch his teammate right there from his front window go to battle here with Joshua Moore. Matthew Catania, he's looking to make that move around the 51 ride and showing a little bit more pace here. Going through the traffic for this 318, and he's looking to slide up into position number 9 on the racetrack. Moving Joshua Moore back into 10th. Moore maybe having to use that bumper and try to work his way up through the traffic, maybe burn up his equipment a little bit more than that 318 who's been able to just follow him right on through. Now have to do the dirty work as the 51 opens up the door. The 318 just takes advantage of it, and here he is trying to make that move up into the 9th spot, but gets a little loose there at corner number 2. Gonna slide back a couple truck lengths again from that 51 of Joshua Morris. He'll hang on to that 9th position. Looks to continue to try to track down this 0-1 of Justin Rodden. Is out in front, Matt Hayden. That race lead is quickly evaporating. It's about 0.8 of a second now between himself and this Celsius. Napa Auto Parts 27 ride is Nick Garner quickly catching up to his back bumper, and we're going to get a battle at the front of the field here in a quick hurry as these drivers putting on a great show. We're almost halfway through this race, ladies and gentlemen, almost already halfway through here. It's been moving along quickly. These guys have been putting down some great laps, some strong performances out there on the speedway. Only a few caution flags there, a couple quick ones back to back there, just after that stage break, but we saw that 30-lap green flag run to start this race, and now we're into another long run situation for these drivers where that fuel, the tires, and everything else could really start to come into play. We'll have to keep an eye on when these drivers head down pit side, when they're going to start making these green flag pit stops, and if we see that caution flag, we're going to probably see everybody come back down pit road trying to get their cars worked on, fixed up, and back into the action here this evening as, man, these bots over there on Twitch, bro, get out of here. So many bots over there on Twitch, bro. I don't even know why I still stream on Twitch. We might better just go back to Kick or something, man. Twitch seems to be just filled with constant bots over there. It's absolutely asinine, man. That's all it is. That's all it is. I swear to God, that's how all these big streamers have, hundreds of thousands of views, man. It's just all bots. It's all bot views, man. It's crazy that they're all in there. And I don't know why Twitch doesn't figure out a way to get rid of them. Like, I'm sorry, people aren't, people aren't creating Twitch accounts, in 30 seconds and then going to follow people and drop a couple comments talking about joining Discords and stuff. That's all obviously fake stuff. As there we go, you did see that 92 truck come down pit road here. That was that 92 of Clinton would be one of those first drivers to bite the bullet and make that green flag pit stop here this afternoon. Now that's going to put him in a very curious position out there on the speedway, as he is now at least a lap, maybe even 2 laps down. And if we see a caution flag, that could potentially trap him back there a lap down on the racetrack. Is right now Nathan Nixon, Rusty Modesty, both these drivers have the free pass position out there on the racetrack locked up. And if our race leaders start to run into some more lap traffic, potentially could lock them back there a lap down. And he's going to have to hope to see this stay clean and green and see this kind of cycle through. But so far, a lot of these other drivers that pitted on lap 32, like himself, yet to come back down pit road. So we're really starting to see, what this fuel strategy is going to look like and where these drivers are going to pick and choose their times to come down pit road to try to put themselves into a winning situation. Here go the 5 right, Matt Hayden. Here he goes. He's going to come down pit road. So our race leader making that green flag pit stop. Now you got to be very, very careful. You got to get checked up. You got to make sure you hit your marks and not hit too quickly here. You don't want to get a speeding penalty. You don't want to have an issue down there on pit road and all of a sudden have to make another green flag pass-through penalty here this afternoon. That could potentially take you out of this race and out of contention to win this race in a quick hurry, as Nick Gardner does consume that race lead, and he will be our 3rd race leader here of the afternoon. So Nick Gardner out in front now in that Celsius Napa Auto Parts 27 ride. He's our 3rd race leader here this evening, as Gardner leads the way down the back straightaway. He's got that 92 right there in front of him. You see that difference between, even having clean air or being one of these drivers a lap down and getting work done to their race cars. To the 92 right of Clinton Woodby, he's able to stay in front of our race leader, starting to pull away from Nick Gardner here, as well as Gardner just trying to hang on to that top spot. He's got a 1.3 second lead between himself and Colton Hardy, as we still see a lot of these drivers that came down pit road on lap number 32 not coming back down pit side yet. So we've only seen a few takers with it. Clinton Woodby, Matt Hayden, the only 2 drivers that came down pit road there at the stage break and stayed out, and now they're going to pay the prices. Here's the caution flag. That's the risk you take here at a short track here in NASCAR racing, as the caution flag will come out as they had made their green flag pit stops. Now they're going to be able to take a wave around here and potentially put themselves back a lap here on the afternoon, but if they're 2 laps down, that could keep them trapped here quite a ways down here. But hopefully going to be back onto the lead lap with the wave around, potentially just going to lose track position going from the front of the field to the back of the pack. That 5 right, what it is held on for another handful of laps here, another 3-4 laps potentially, could have put himself right back into contention this afternoon. Could have been rolling in 2nd, 3rd out there on the speedway. Now he scored back in 25th and at least a lap down out there on the speedways. Everybody else coming down pit side here, making their pit stops here under the caution flag, as we'll take a look back and see what happens. It looks like the 14 ride of Coop Reed and the 196 of Caleb Kleinert having some issues here. Kleinert up there on the high side, 14 down low. They just kind of converge there in the middle of corner number 2. This is where we've seen a lot of the action here this evening, and this is where a lot of the contacts being made here this afternoon. As here you go, down low, the 14 ride kind of hits that apron. He starts to wash up the racetrack as the 96 trying to drive it down the racetrack here. He comes down the speedway. Unfortunately for both these drivers, one coming down, one coming up. They just meet in the middle. Right there in that left rear quarter panel is the contact. You see the 5 right hard into the back end of the 14. They're going to slide down the racetrack. Hard contact into the inside fence for both of them. So heavy damage for that 05. Heavy damage there for that 14 and that 196, as they're going to have to try to get their cars repaired and back out there. As you still see Caleb Kleinert there turned around there and finally gets that truck pointed back in the right direction. A little bit of damage here on that truck, and we get it pointed back in the right direction. Keep it rolling out there on the speedway. Could have been a whole lot worse there for himself. Just looks like some rear end damage and definitely burning up those tires for him. And that's going to make things a little bit more interesting here this evening. Is that the final stop, or do we see these drivers have to make another green flag pit stop here? If we see it stay clean and green again, we saw drivers run virtually about what, 40 laps right there, 40 laps before coming down pit side. So is that the number? Is that where we need to see drivers start to make their way down pit road? We saw some drivers staying out there a little bit longer who came down pit road on lap number 32. So I think they can make it probably about 50 laps, maybe even just a little bit more. So late in this race, we're going to go back to green flag racing with probably about 86 laps down out of this race. Here we go. Lap 87 is going to get put up onto the board. So it's going to make things very, very wild out there on the speedway, because they may be, 5-10 laps shy of fuel. Maybe we see a couple drivers trying to lay it back easy, trying to save that gas out there on the speedway and see if they can make it to the end without having to make another green flag pit stop. And if that was the last green flag pit stop, these drivers know it's game time. It is time to shine. It is time to race your way up to the front of the field and try to put yourself into the winning position here this afternoon. Is down through quarter 3 and out of 4. We will go back to green flag racing as the Celsius 27 and Nick Gardner leads the way here in this one. Gardner out in front, showing these drivers that he is the car to beat here this afternoon in the Metalheads Truck Series. As he rolls down the back straightaway, opens up a quick couple truck length lead between himself and that 97 to Colton Hardy is Michael Madden, Skylar Berry, Matthew Catania. They're in position number 5. Mark Beverly trying to hold on to 6 as Joshua Moore trying to take it away from him. Austin Gustafson in that HendrickCars.com 71 truck rolls there in 8th. Justin Rodden, the WrestleMania WWE machine, rolls there in 9th, and Nate Cogdell in that beautiful Carolina Collision Sonic Graphic Designs 00, rounding out our top 10 on the racetrack. Charles Jennings, he's getting a little bit of a shove right there down through quarter 3 and 4 as that Storm Sim Performance 96 ride has the 87 of John Herbert all over his back bumper. Herbert in that Ridge Power Sports KR Gunners 87 machine having a great run up in position number 12 as here comes Keith Prince, Grayson McKee, and Coop Reed rounding out our top 15 out there on the speedway. Those drivers that did come down pit side already, unfortunately, has a couple green flag laps on their tires and using up a little bit of fuel extra than everybody else as the 5 rider Matt Hayden able to race his way now back into that 16th position, quickly trying to race his way up and through the field. Clinton Woodby, who also came down pit road. Now he came down pit side a handful of laps earlier than that 5 ride, and here he is back in the 19th spot. He's trying to race his way back up through the traffic as he's door to door right there. They're almost 3 wide as Daniel Dow unfortunately slides up the racetrack. The 8 rider Nicholas Lawrence down to his inside now. Here comes Woodby trying to get around him here as well. That 50 rider Jason Steptoe, he's rounding out our top 20 out there on the racetrack is Rusty Modesty, Kevin Winker, Caleb Kleinert, Joe Bennett, our top 24. Nathan Nixon back in 25th. Nixon, unfortunately, still scored a lap down. Bruce Bernard, he's a few laps down back there in that 26th spot. Is Chuck Kiger, Ashley Ellison Jr. not out there on the racetrack. They did load into the sim, but have not joined us here for the fun this afternoon. Is out in front, leading this race. It's that 27 of Nick Gardner. Gardner still leading the way here this afternoon with Colton Hardy right there on his back bumper. Michael Madden, Skylar Berry, they're in position number 3 and 4. Their nose to tail on the racetrack is Matthew Catania back up inside the top 5 here this evening. Great comeback there, great drive up through the field, and good pitch strategy for that 318 machine. Has that Majula a speed shop. NOS Energy, sweet victory apparel ride up into the top 5 here once again. We'll see if he can race his way back up to the front of the field, see if he can slide up inside the top 3 again here this afternoon. It's Mark Beverly there in 6. Austin Gustafson now in 7th is Justin Rodden. John Herbert, Nate Cogdell. Our top 10 is unfortunately Joshua Moore sliding backwards, now getting some contact here. Him and the 96 tied together. No caution flag as of yet. They're still tied together. There goes that 96. He's pointing the wrong direction. Oh, brother, there's the yellow flag. There it is. Unfortunate break right there as Charles Jennings, Joshua Moore, nowhere to go here is down the back straightaway. You see that 5 ride, man, he is working his way up through the field, and maybe some different pitch strategy for that 51 as he slided like a rock, and all of a sudden you see that 96, the 51, they just make a little contact there down the back straightaway, and it seems like that exit of quarter 2 down the backstretch. This has been the killer area out there on the speedway. This is where we see all the contact and carnage here as right here. You see the 51, just looks like he gets a little loose coming off the wall right there. Kind of comes down, just kind of tanks that 96 to get tied together up into the outside fence, and then up and around the nose of that 51 goes that Storm Sim Performance number 96 ride of Gettings. As Gettings and Joshua Moore tied together up in the outside fence. Now they ride that wall for quite a little while, all the way down into corner number 3 here. Then finally the 51 able to cut down the racetrack, still tied together, still parked on each other here, and then finally clears them there, able to get rolling, and now gonna have to try to get some repairs himself and try to get back into the action here this evening, as we'll get them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. Do we see some more pit strategy here? As we'll see if these drivers do elect to come back down pit side, if they do want to make another pit stop here and try to work themselves into a better situation out there on the racetrack, or try to get that extra little bit of fuel to see if they can make it to the end of this race, or if they're going to need a little bit more out there on the speedway. We'll have to wait and see who may be the takers here. Who's going to risk it for the brisket? Who's going to try to get the fuel or potentially tires here late in this race? And what could be their potential final pit stop of the day? Or if they're still outside their pit window, they have to make another pit stop here, so they may not want to come down this early. So we'll have to wait. We'll take a look here. We did see Joshua Moore obviously head down pit side. We do see him once again back down pit road here in that 51, trying to get his car repaired. We did see Matt Hayden come back down pit side there on lap 95. Same with Clinton Woodby. Jason Steptoe also making that additional pit stop. Keith Prince, Rusty Modesty, Joe Bennett, all coming down pit road. We did see Joshua Moore down pit road, and Kevin Winker coming back down pit side here as well, as we do see Daniel Dow back onto the lead lap here, able to get the wave around the lucky dog, and he is back into the action here, back into contention here this evening. And same with that 40 ride, Nathan Nixon. So for these drivers, a couple cats getting back on the lead lap now. If we get a couple more caution flags, potentially opening up the door here for Bruce Bernard to try to get a few laps back here himself. Unfortunately for Bruce, he is quite a few laps down out there on the speedways. We'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys haven't done it already, make sure you guys help us out here on the broadcast. Jump up into the comment section, let us know who you're cheering for here this evening, who you want to see up in victory lane, or even just one of your teammates that you may want to see pick up the dump here this evening. Let us know who you want to see get the dump here this afternoon from the beautiful Dover International Speedway. As we'll get them ready to rock and roll, we'll get ready to go back to battle. Make sure you guys also help us out. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. As here we go back to battle, but it's a pile up here in a parking lot on the front straightaway. Cautions breeding cautions, and the big one strikes here at Dover. Caution flag out there on the speedway, and this was a big one. A bunch of drivers tore up, tied up down here on the infield in the inside of corner of the front straightaway. There's a lot of drivers that just got tore up here, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of cats. Watch that 318 ride. I'm not sure. That looks like that's kind of where it starts here, up towards the front of the field. And unfortunately for the 318 of Matthew Catania, looks like the inside lane just kind of gets bunched up right here. You see the 15 ride right there. Spins the tires. Michael Madden spins the tires, washes up the racetrack, has to roll out of the throttle. Then you see Catania gets into the back end of him. Now he's checked up. The 71 truck, he gets into him. That gets him just bent out of shape here. And then all of a sudden he comes back up the racetrack over the nose there of the 71 ride. Nowhere to go for the 01, the 00. They all get tied up into it. Here comes that 96. He gets slammed into it. The 87 of John Herbert, nowhere to go. That 14 right of Coop Reed into it. The 48 tied up. The 3. All these drivers just getting absolutely destroyed here on the front straightaway, and it all starts at the front of the field here with a little bit of tire spin from that 15. Michael Madden spins the tires, trying to stay out of the 46, comes back down the racetrack after getting hit by that 318, then they just kind of stack up, and that's all she wrote for a lot of these drivers, man. You see Caleb Clinard in there. The 51 looked like potentially getting tied up in that again as well. Yeah, Joshua Moore also going around right there, as Moore trying to get up to speed here. He's trying to get himself into the action, trying to race his way back up through the field here, and unfortunately for Joshua Moore, let's take a look here. This truck just going to slide in here late in this one. Maybe even a little help. Maybe his teammate, yeah, right there, Kevin Winker, not realizing that they're all wrecking. 51 right tries to check up, tries to roll out of the throttle. Unfortunately, K-Dub gets into the back end of him, jacks him up, spins him around into the infield wall as well. So, man, that tore up a lot of cats in a quick hurry. We saw Gustafson in there. We saw Keith Prince, Michael Madden, Matthew Catania all getting tied up in it. Nate Cogdell nowhere to go. He was stuck in the middle of it. Same with Charles Gettings, Justin Rodden in there. Caleb Kleinert getting some damage. Cooper Reed, John Herbert, Daniel Dow, Grayson McKee, man, so many good drivers just absolutely got tore to shreds down the front straightaway going back to that green flag. And now we'll get them all ready to rock and roll. We'll get them ready to try to do this all over again. As here we go, you do see that number 15, Michael Madden, headed back down pit side here. He's going to get some additional work done to his car. As see a lot of these drivers, pretty much everybody there except for our top 10, all coming down pit side here on lap number 99. So for some of these drivers, that's making this pit strategy that much more entertaining, as maybe they got that extra little bit of fuel, those extra few laps, maybe enough that they don't have to come back down pit side here this evening, and they can just run it dry here this afternoon. So we'll have to wait and see what the calls are going to be, or if they're still going to be a little short out there on the speedway, and they may have to save just a little bit. As out in front, leading this race once again, it is now the 97 rider, Colton Hardy. Hardy out in front of the field, showing them how to get it done here in this one. Skylar Perry there in second. Mark Beverly up and into third as Nicholas Lawrence there in fourth. Matt Hayden back up inside the top five as Rusty Modesty back there in sixth. Nathan Nixon, Joe Bennett, Kevin Winker up into ninth, and Clinton Woodby now running out our top 10. As Beverly Rapp says, let's go 51, cheered on Joshua Moore. Joshua looked very strong early on, has gotten tied up in a few incidences here late in this race as we are back to green flag racing. Back to battle here at Dover International Speedway in the Metalheads Truck Series as these drivers duking it out here this evening. Some great racing action here in the Big Red Customs 150. As door-to-door action, here comes Mark Beverly looking to try to take that race lead away from the 97 ride. As they're door-to-door down at the core number 4, and Beverly will take that race lead away from him. So we get another new race leader here in this one, but it's not going to last for long as the caution flag will come back out. The 92 truck, that Goldberg machine, the 92 of Clinton would be tied up, tore up, and turned around here again. Looks like maybe just losing the rear end here, trying to find some speed, trying to find his way up towards the front of the field, just steps on it, coming into corner number 4. Truck washes down the racetrack, hard contact into that inside fence. Luckily enough, does get onto the binders there and keeps himself from rolling up into traffic. That could have been a whole lot worse for a bunch of drivers out there on the speedway as they were sliding into him in a quick hurry. As here you go, take another look at this one and watch this truck just lose the rear end here. Down through corner number 4 and just back onto the throttle, rear end kicks loose. He goes around, watch this truck roll back up the racetrack though, and look at everyone trying to get around him right there. Oh, baby, some close calls right there. Jason Steptoe almost clobbered him out there on the racetrack. Luckily enough, both competitors able to keep themselves out of trouble and keep on rolling there on the speedway. Now we do see another wave of drivers headed down pit side here. Mark Beverly heads down pit side. So Beverly down pit road here, our race leader back down pit side with Colton Hardy down pit road, Skylar Berry, Joe Bennett coming down pit lane, Nathan Nixon back down pit side. You'll see Justin Rodden, Joshua Moore, Caleb Kleinert, Grayson McKee, Clinton Woodby, all these guys looking to try to get some extra fuel into their trucks and maybe trying to get some more of their damage repaired here under this caution flag and getting ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. Is out in front, Matt Hayden will once again consume this race lead. We saw that 5 truck there through the middle portion of this race really start to pull away out there on the speedway. Had some great speed, a great run there, and held a lot of these drivers at bay for quite a while. Now we'll have to wait and see if he can do it again and keep this 5 right out in front here to close out this race and maybe pick up a big checkered flag here this evening. As we are just over 100 laps into this race, we're down to our final 50 laps here. As they cross this start finish line, we're going to have 45 laps of racing action left here this evening. So only 45 laps to duke it out. Battle door to door, elbows up racing here at Dover International Speedway, and so far it's been a little little bit of back and forth. We've seen a couple really good green flag runs, and then we've seen it kind of get busted up here and see a couple of, areas where we kind of get a string of caution flags here. The cautions have definitely been breeding cautions, but we'll have to wait and see if we can get another string of good green flag laps in here again and see this race maybe go down to the wire here during that green flag conditions. And look at K-Dub. Kevin Winker says, couldn't see a damn thing, didn't even know why they were wrecking. Yeah, unfortunate for K-Dub there, getting contact into his teammate, definitely not helping Joshua Moore out any there in that one. But for the 42 ride, it was kind of stuck back in traffic and at the rear of the field here for quite a while this afternoon. K-Dub now finds himself here in third. Does he have something left in the tank? Was he just kind of playing coy back there deeper in the field and not wanting to show his hand too early out there on the speedway, but now sits in prime position in that third spot here for a late race restart. We'll see if K-Dub has something left in the tank and see if he can get that Muleburger Custom Home Sonographic Designs, the Winker Nation 42 truck up and into victory lane. As here we go, back to green flag racing. Matt Hayden, Nicholas Lawrence, Kevin Winker, Rusty Modesty, Nick Gardner, our top 5 out there on the speedway. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing as we'll jump into a quick Peacemaker game and crank it up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. So you do see that official iRacing pace truck roll back out there onto the racetrack. Another caution flag out there on the speedway. The Peacemaker, crank it up. Caution flag curse going to continue here this afternoon as we'll take a look back and see what brings out this yellow flag, is I'm not too sure what may have happened out there. Potentially, we do see Justin Rodden back down pit road here. Maybe some drivers deeper in the field running into problems. Not too sure here. We do see, oh, here we go. Oh, there it is right there. Let's take a look back here as it looks like Jason Steptoe and Caleb Kleinerd run into some problems here down the back straightaway. So Kleinerd still has some pretty good damage here on that 196 right. That sweet victory apparels Majula A speed job machine just gets loose down the back straightaway, trying to hang on to it. Unfortunately, the truck's just going to go around. He loses the handle of it. You see that damage already dealt through that 196. He's been trying to get that car fixed up and back into one piece. Unfortunately, losing the handle of it. Going to go around over the nose there of Jason Steptoe. And over to go for Steptoe there in that one as he had a great seat in it. He was able to launch this one at the front windshield and see what was going on and trying to take a look and see what was happening here through that 196. And unfortunately, really nowhere for him to go. He's off the throttle trying to get around him, and then all of a sudden cuts back up the racetrack and right over his nose. Some damage there to that 50 Brian, and tied up another one there himself. As here we go, we will get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to try to go back to green flag racing here once again as Matt Hayden out in front. Now we may see some drivers elect to come back down pit side here. I don't know, man, it's starting to get late in this race to make these decisions. To want to come down pit road, stay out there on the speedway. Do you want to give up track position this late in the race, knowing that it could be chaos back there deeper in the field? And you may still see a few more caution flags where if you're a lap or two shy of fuel, maybe you can save that under a couple more yellow flags out there on the speedway and maybe put yourself into the winning position here this evening as we'll get them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to battle and back into our Peacemaker Gaming crank it up.
Charge hard, piston pumping like a beast. Black top, jungle feast on chaos, flavor grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams chasing speed and money. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high-octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. The dreams chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line.
Caution flag on the racetrack. There you see that 318 run slow there on the inside of the back straightaway as the caution flag comes out here in this one. Another quick caution flag out there on the speedway. This time it's the 318 of Matthew Catania. Catania rolling in position number 2 here, battling with Nick Gardner. Down low, out of court number 2. Looks like he's going to slap the racetrack, make some contact there with the 27. They get tied together. Gardner goes around, the 318 goes around as well. And both drivers running into some problems. And for our drivers inside the top 3, man, this is never what you want to see. You never want to see two fast cats battle at the front of the field, and unfortunately coming together right there. Luckily enough, everyone else able to get around them there. The self-washing back straightaways, everything kind of goes down to that inside wall. Unfortunately, contact there for the 318, but everyone else able to avoid damage, avoid getting tied up in that one, and we do see that caution flag come back out. Now we do see a lot of drivers headed down pit side, being led by Michael Madden. Madden comes down pit road here. We also see that 8 ride. That's Nicholas Lawrence down pit road. Nick Gardner, Nate Cogdell, Rusty Modesty, John Herbert here coming down pit side. Joshua Moore coming down pit road here as well. Our pole stater and our early race leader down pit side. Here comes Matthew Catania, who just got tied up in that caution flag. Nate Coop there in the 14. K-Dub, Kevin Winker, he's down pit road. We see one of these drivers, Daniel Dow, Caleb Clinard, he's down pit road trying to get some more repairs done to that 196 ride as it's going to definitely mix things up here again out there on the racetrack. Drivers coming down pit side. Drivers making an additional pit stop here on lap number 118. That's going to put pretty much everybody coming down pit road before lap number, or after lap 100, except for Charles Gettings. Gettings pitted on lap number 99. Same with that 30 machine of Keith Prince. The 71 Austin Gustin was also down pit road on lap 99, but Matt Hayden, he now has the oldest tires, the oldest equipment out there. He was the last driver, the longest time since a driver came down pit road here is this number 95 ride as Matt Hayden out in front of this field, able to use that track position to his benefit, but he is last down pit side on lap number 95. Now I don't know if he's going to have enough fuel, enough tires to try to make it to the end of this race, or if he's going to have to make a late race pit stop. I'm sure he's saved enough fuel. He's probably been saving here under every one of these caution flags, trying to get this car, figured out, trying to save that fuel and see if he can just keep this track position and keep himself out in front of the field and not wanting to give up that good stuff here, that fresh air on the nose of that 5 ride as he'll get ready for another big restart here. And about 30 laps left in this race. It's going to get wild here down to the very bitter end. Is down across the line. We will see lap number 30 get knocked off the board as our operator coming in, showing the love over there on YouTube, says, "Good evening. Sorry I'm late. Hashtag Winker Nation," and go number 51, the Michigan Madman. Our operator says hello to Joel, Brandon, and Shauna up in the chat as well. All Winker Nation tuning in and cheering on that 51 ride at K-Dub as we'll have to wait and see how all this strategy is going to play out as we'll get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here in the Big Red Customs Diecast 150 here with the Metalhead Truck Series. As down through corner number 4 into the Geico restarts on the 5 right of Matt Hayden. We'll see that green flag fly. He quickly launches, gets another great jump, looks to clear that 97 of Colton Hardy down the front straightaway and into corner number 1. Hardy, though, quickly going to look to try to get the back bumper down. Here comes Austin Gustafson in that HendrickCars.com 71 ride, and he'll shoot it out here again at the beautiful Dover International Speedway, but they're wrecking back here again behind them. Around goes that 3 right, around goes a couple other drivers as there's a pile-up, and it is chaos in a parking lot down here into corner number 3. Another caution, breeding caution out there on the speedway. This time, a lot of drivers get tore up, man. There's a lot of cats that all of a sudden find themselves in a tough situation out there on the speedways. I do believe, let's take a look here. This is where it gets started. The 46 of Barry gets up into the outside fence, bounces off that wall, down into that right rear quarter panel of the 3 ride. And unfortunately for that American Sign Language number 3 machine, gets turned around as Barry hits that inside fence. Here you go. Woodbee's going to get collected. He drives into that 3 right now. Everyone else sliding into this. They're just trying to get through there, and unfortunately they just run out of room. Nick Gardner, Michael Madden, they get tied together. The 87 ride of John Herbert, he gets into it here as he slides in there. Coop Reed, he's trying to work his way through there. Looks like he's going to end up getting a big piece here of that 15 ride of Michael Madden, and everyone else just trying to pick and choose the way they can get through there. And for another one of our race leaders this afternoon, when you look back at Nick Gardner, his night has gotten a whole lot worse. He was just up there battling for second with that 318 right of Matthew Catania, and then they got tied together, bringing up that last caution flag, and now all of a sudden he gets tied up here in this one as well, just trying to race his way back up towards the front of the field, and he's got nowhere to go here. He's just going to get clipped right there. Oh, you see Michael Madden. That was a heavy hit there for Madden. Watch Madden down low. He's trying to avoid that 3 machine. Shoots down to the inside. Unfortunately, slams into that 46 of Barry down low. That truck just ramps up into the air. Hard contact up into that 27. And Nick Gardner. Gardner goes for a couple loop-de-loops there. Slams into the outside fence. You see the 8 ride getting some damage there as well. That's a big hit as well for the 8 of Nicholas Lawrence and Coop Reed. 14, Michael Madden, John Herbert, all tied up in this one, man. K-Dub was right there. He almost got tied up in it. Same with that number 51 ride, as they were just able to escape that. Let's see if we can jump on board here with Kevin Wanker. See what he can see here. As they battle down the back straightaway, all of a sudden just sees carnage and chaos here. Drivers sliding down the racetrack, back up the racetrack, hop, skipping and jumping through the air, and luckily enough, able to pick and choose his way through that one and able to survive here this afternoon. A little farther back, you do see Joshua Moore. He's going to see a little bit more of it, sees these guys starting to wreck, sees all this carnage, all this mayhem. He just drives right down to the inside wall, just trying to keep himself down low and away from all that carnage to his outside, and luckily enough, able to keep that car clean and keep on rolling out there on the speedways. Another yellow flag, another restart on the horizon here in Matt Hayden. I don't know if he's loving or hating this. This is definitely giving him an absolute opportunity here to save some fuel and try to make it to the end of this race without having to come back down pit side, get fuel into this 5 truck. Now the tires could be the big issue though for this number 5 ride, but I feel like all these yellow flags, all these cautions have really saved his tires here. He doesn't really have too many green flag laps under his belt, and that fresh air could mean putting himself into victory lane or not, but he's got a lot of fast cats back there behind him that he's going to have to try to hold off as we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing. We're going to get ready to duke it out here again this afternoon, as we do see Michael Madden. He is down and off this racetrack. The 46 is Skylar Berry. He's down pit side. Looks like his night may be done. Same with Jason Steptoe. As it looked like we started with about 26 drivers, and we only got about 22 still rolling out there on the speedways. Here you go. Back to green flag racing. The 5 ride of Matt Hayden. Another great restart. Gets a perfect launch there over the 97 to Colton Hardy, and now opens up the door for Austin Gustafson. Young Lotus trying to take that second spot away from Colton out there on the speedway. They battle for goal for position number 2. That's exactly what he wants to see as they're sliding sideways down the back straightaway. Look out, Clifton Woodby almost going around. Now they're tied up again. Oh, up into the outside fence goes that 48 rider Grayson McKee. McKee into the outside wall. He stopped there on the racetrack, and I do believe the caution flag will come back out. So cautions breeding cautions, as everyone trying to get everything they can here. Everyone trying to race their way towards the front. You see a couple drivers getting a little tight here. Every core number 2 and the 87 ride of John Herbert all over the back end bumper there of that 2 ride. That kind of gets him back to shake down the racetrack, puts him 3 wide right here. Then they start to stack up in the middle as the 92 ride down low was running into issues, and Grayson just runs into the back end of that 2 ride. A big head of steam coming into that 2 car as they were checking up, and unfortunately he backs it up into the outside fence. Same with Daniel Dow as he gets up into the wall, and fortunate contact there for both these drivers. Pretty good damage for both of them, and they see this 48 just pointed the wrong direction there on the racetrack, and that's where we see that caution flag coming back out. So another quick caution flag. Cautions breeding cautions here this afternoon, as we'll get them stacked up, ranked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. And as we go back to green flag racing, it'll be the end of our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. I'm going to quickly go use the bathroom, and then we'll give you all the green flag racing here down to the end of this feature event.
Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like a beast. Black top, jungle feast on chaos, crave the grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Rubber dreams, chasing speed and money. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing no control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high-octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Pulling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line. Chasing speed and light, engines going loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins, rhyme till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line.
Woo! Alrighty, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Is that our final caution flag? Will this be our final restart of the day? We're about to find out as we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing. Matt Hayden, Colton Hardy, 1 and 2 out there on the speedway, getting ready for another restart here. And it's down through that Geico restart zone. Another great jump there. Another perfect launch out of that 5 run of Matt Hayden. As Hayden looking to pick up the checker flag. Colton Hardy right there in second, trying to hunt him down. And see with that 71 run, Austin Gustafson doing a great job hanging on to third, and here comes Nathan Nixon. Nixon somehow, after going a couple laps down, getting tied up in a couple issues out there in that rock solid Riggs number 40 ride, finds himself there in fourth. The 05, the body armor number 05 ride of Joe Bennett there in fifth. Then we see Charles Gettings, Mark Beverly, that 8 ride of Nicholas Lawrence, Rusty Modesty, and Joshua Moore rounding out our top 10 out there on the racetrack. As Moore trying to race his way up towards the front, a little contact there between the 8 and the 6 ride as Nicholas Lawrence and Rusty Modesty beating and banging there right inside our top 10. As here you go, that 51 ride, he's trying to find his way back up there towards the front of the field. See with the 27 machine of Joshua Moore, and it's not going to matter as here you go, the caution flag will come back out as the 3 ride turned around here. Keith Prince around, pointing the wrong direction again in that American Sign Language number 3 machine. And it's a tough break there for Keith Prince, that ASL machine, the American Sign Language ride. Unfortunately running into quite a bit of issues here this afternoon in this later half. It was having such a great run and a good drive and sends it down into corner number 1. The rear end just steps out and around on a man. No aerodynamics. Obviously something busted in the back end of that 3 truck. And as he goes around our race leaders right there, luckily enough, they're all able to avoid him and avoid any extra calamities out there on the speedway. But that will put us back under the yellow here this evening. So some more issues here this afternoon, some more drivers running into problems out there on the racetrack. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys are just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor here this evening. Make sure you guys hit that like button for us right now. Over 20 plus viewers watching over there on YouTube, a lot over on Facebook and Twitch as well. If you guys haven't already, it takes just a couple seconds to do. Helps us out a ton. Hit that like button on the stream, hit that thumbs up, hit that share button if you're feeling courteous. Make sure you hit that subscribe button or that follow button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today as we see a bunch of drivers coming back down pit road late in this race, being led by Kevin Winker. K-Dub down pit side here again in that Muehlberger Custom Homes at number 42 ride. Coop Reed down pit side. Caleb Kleinert, he's down pit road, still trying to get his Majula State Speed Shop Sweet Victory Apparels number 196 fixed back up and back out there onto the racetrack in one piece. The 48 ride, the McDonald's machine of Grayson McKee, he's down pit side trying to get his trunk repaired. Same with Keith Prince in that American Sign Language number 3 machine. As here we go, we'll get ready to go back to battle. We'll get ready to duke it out here again, as leading the way still is this Razor Sonic Graphic Designs number 5 of Matt Hayden. Hayden been able to do a great job here, continue to just control these restarts and not having to worry about a long run or have these drivers back there behind him and be able to put the pressure onto his back bumper. As Colton Hardy has been trying to get his trunk wound up. The winning bid, NASCAR diecast sales and card breaks number 97 ride there, that QH design, Sonic Graphic Designs 97 back there in that second position. Then we saw that 40 ride of Nathan Nixon able to seal third away. Is that Sparkle and Shine Anything EC Rock Solid Rigs at number 40 rolls there in that third position. The HendrickCars.com number 71 of Austin Gustafson now back into fourth as the 05 of Joe Bennett in the body armor ride rolls there in that fifth position. To his outside in the Storm Sim Performance, number 96. That is Charles Gettings. They're in that 6th position with the Asphalt Outlaws. Number 13, a Mark Beverly back in 7th. Rounding out our top 8 is that Sinclair Dino Care number 6 machine. That is Rusty Modesty back there in 8th with the Old Spice number 8 ride of Nicholas Lawrence back in 9th. The Muleburger Custom Homes number 51 of Joshua Moore rounding out our top 10. Then we see that Metal Heads, Carolina Collision, Sonic Graphic Designs number 00. That Tiger Construction winning bid number 00. Nate Cogdell back there in 11th. The Celsius Napa Auto Parts number 27. Nick Gardner back there in 12th as we'll get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. It is still anyone's race out there on the Speedway. 16 laps when we go back to Green Flag Battle here in this one as Brent Winker says, let's go Winker, hashtag Winker Nation out there in the comment sections. Here we go, back to Green Flag Racing, another quick, good restart there for that 5 right. Slides up the racetrack, clears at 97. It will lead us down through 1 and out of 2, looking to try to open up that race lead. He's got that fresh air. He's got the clean track in front of him and looking to just try to run away with this one as Colton Hardy stays in that 2nd spot. He's looking to try to hunt down our race leader, Nathan Nixon, now up into 3rd, and Joe Bennett doing a great job here in that 05 ride as he's battling door to door here with Austin Gustafson for position number 4. Charles getting us a little farther back there in 6 as Rusty Modesty now taking a look down to his inside as that 51 of Joshua Moore has worked himself now into position number 8 on the racetrack. Mark Beverly back into 9th, trying to hold off this 27 as look out, some contact. Oh baby, that 8 ride's gonna go around. Nate Cogdell tied up in it, and we see another caution flag out there on the Speedway. So cautions continuing to breed cautions here at Dover International Speedway in the Big Red Customs 150s. Let's take a look back here as that Old Spice number 8 machine, and oh man, nowhere to go for John Herbert. Herbert gets tied up in this one as well as it looks like this number 8 just gonna lose the rear end here. Coming down at a quarter 4, just getting onto the throttle, loses the rear end, slides down the racetrack, ends up right into the right rear there of that 00. Cogdell nowhere to go, bounces into that outside fence. John Herbert was right there in tow behind the 8 ride, nowhere for him to go as he slams into the wall, then into the 8 in the 00. And you see Grayson McKee, he's going to get a little damage there as well, hard down into that inside fence. Good damage there onto that 48 ride as well as Cogdell and the 8 ride both slide down into the inside wall here at Dover International Speedway. And again, some more tore up race cars, some more carnage out there on the Speedway. And for these cats, definitely not the way they wanted this race to end. But for Matt Hayden, a driver who hasn't been down pit side since lap number 95, fuel was kind of questionable, but now with all these yellow flags, he's had to be saving that fuel, and he is definitely locked in until the end. There's no way that we see this 5 ride make a trip down pit side here. He's going to try to keep this track position. He does not want to go back there into that hornet's nest. Even if the tires start to fall off here, I don't think he's going to make a move down pit road if we see another caution flag. He's going to continue to try to use these restarts to his advantage, get those jumps, trying to lead for a couple laps, maybe even a handful of laps there, and then see another yellow flag come out and just do it all over again, and keeping these guys guessing back there behind him on these restarts. Definitely going to try to put him up into this top spot. So Hayden trying to get it done. Colton Hardy, Nathan Nixon, Austin Gustafson, Joe Bennett, our top 5, all trying to knock him out of that top spot. Same with everyone else back there behind him is Joshua Moore, our pole sitter in our early race leader, who led the first 30 laps of this race and then took some pit strategy there shortly after that, and all of a sudden it became a survival, a fight of the fittest out there for this 51, the 27 ride of Nick Gardner. They've been up and down throughout the field. Unfortunately, they just have not had any places to go out there on the Speedway. It's Big Cord. What's good, Big Cord? Says, what a way to finish. Get taken out by someone impatient. Oh, that is tough, brother. That is tough. It's always tough, man. And we see that, you know, patience potentially running pretty thin out there. That's usually what we see late in these races, but it was a little closer to, you know, that middle point than late in the race here, as we still had a lot of laps left to go, and we've seen the slew of these yellow flags kind of just continuing to keep on bouncing out there, and unfortunately a lot of drivers getting tore up and tied up in these issues out there on the Speedway. And unfortunately for drivers like yourself, Justin, and for other cats out there, man, have just had no luck. You look back at Caleb Clinard or Coop Reed in the 4 14 ride. Keith Prince, who's been tied up in a few incidences. Grayson McKee, Skylar Berry, John Herbert. He's another driver that's really just had nowhere to go out there on the speedway. Gotten tied up a couple times, as we do see Daniel Dow, Michael Madden. They're both down and out of this race as well. We do see Jason Steptoe. He's down and out of this race. And, man, a lot of cats parked down pit road are already done here this evening, and definitely not the spot that they want to be. As Herbie's Wild Ride says, DQ'd. Oh, no. I didn't even realize. Is there an incident point counter? Is that the DQ here? Is it like a 20x, 25x or something like that you get the DQ? Unfortunately there for Herbie, not a lot of X's there due to himself, but unfortunately getting tied up in a lot of issues out there on the speedway have got him that DQ here this evening. That's potentially what's happened to a few of our other drivers. Here we go, Matt Hayden, another great restart quickly. Opens up a couple truck length lead as Colton Hardy hangs on to position number 2. Nathan Nixon there in 3rd as Austin Gustafson rolls there in position number 4. Joe Bennett trying to hold on to 5th here as they're door-to-door. Back there behind him is Rusty Modesty trying to slide his way up towards the top 5. And here comes that 51. Joshua Moore, the 27, and Nick Gardner. Both these guys trying to race their way back up towards the front of the field. And that 318 ride coming back into the picture as well. That is that Majula State Speed Shop ride of Matthew Catania. Catania back there as well. He's now into that 10th position and looking to try to keep on moving forward. But Clinton Woodby down low. Woodby in the Goldberg winning bid diecast ride up into the inside here. That 318 trying to make that move is out in front. Matt Hayden just laid down the quickest lap of this race. The last time around was the quickest lap here of this feature event. And this 5 ride, he's left a little bit left in the tank, and he's looking to just try to run away with this one. Colton Hardy, Nathan Nixon, they're doing everything they can, not only just to hang with them, but trying to catch him and make a move is going to be a whole different situation. As Austin Gustafson rolls there in 4th. Rusty Modesty now inside the top 5 as Joshua Moore in that Muleberger Custom Homes number 51 ride trying to work to his back bumper as they reel in the 71 of Austin Gustafson. Gustafson right there watching up the racetrack and open up that inside lane. Here comes that 51 of Joshua Moore down low. He's looking to move back up inside the top 5 as he rolls down low and around. Rusty Modesty for that 5th position, so move Moore back up inside the top 5, but Modesty's not done yet with them here, and you do see slow traffic down low. That's the 48 rider, Grayson McKee, still just trying to roll some laps out there, trying to gain as much as he can this afternoon. Same with that 3 machine of Keith Prince. There we go. He's going to move around that 3 ride of Prince and steal that 18th position away from him. So still some fighting back there deeper in the field. That's out in front. It has gotten spicy as Hayden slid up. It's opened up the door. Nixon down low looking for the race lead. Colton Hardy and Nixon door to door down across the start finish line here for the race lead. Oh, baby, you guys came here for a show. Well, here you go. Late in this race, these drivers are duking it out. Only 4 more laps left to go in their side-by-side for the race lead. Nathan Nixon down on the inside. He slides up the racetrack a little bit. Now here comes Matt Hayden. He's poking his nose right back down low underneath. He's looking to see if he can try to get back into this fight for the top spot. As unfortunately, Colton Hardy going to slide backwards right there. Now some lap traffic playing a hand at it as the 40 rider Nathan Nixon takes his race lead late in the race. But here comes Hardy right back down to his back bumper. Takes a look down low. The 40 washes up the racetrack. Leaves that inside lane open for him. They're door to door back down across the line here with only a couple laps left to go here this afternoon. Unfortunately, Hardy did not get the drive off corner exit that he was looking for. Now here comes Gustafson. Here comes Joshua Moore. Moore down low. He's looking to make the move already around the 71. He's going to go 3 wide down the back straightaway as he looks to take over position number 3 on the racetrack. It's a dogfight out there on the speedway, but out in front, it is Nathan Nixon who will see that white flag fly one more time around here for Nixon as Colton Hardy back there in second. Can't hang with him, unfortunately sliding backwards. Matt Hayden holds on to 3rd as Nick Gardner up and around a bunch of these drivers as they ran into problems down into corner number 1 and 2. As out of 4 though, it's Nathan Nixon who will pick up the checkered flag here in the Big Red Diecast. Big Red Customs Diecast 150 this afternoon. Big Red diecast here this afternoon, the big red Customs 150, and it's Nathan Nixon, man, being able to pick up the checkered flag here in this one. What a run and what a drive, what a rebound here for that 40 ride. Not too long ago, it seemed like we saw him a lapper, multiple laps down, had some issues, got into some problems, and for Nader, he's able to find his way up and into victory lane here in that sparkle and shine. Anything EC, rock solid rings, Vestas, number 40 ride as he'll get ready to celebrate here at Dover International Speedway. A big win here in the Metalhead Truck Series for this number 40 ride, and we'll get ready to pull all three of our final finishers here, our top three performers this afternoon, up and into the broadcast booth for their post-race interviews as Nader getting it done and burning down the house here in Dover, man. What a run and what a race right there is. Yes, it is a 24X Intel DQ out there. That is a tough one right there. Is Nader, Penny L says, go Nader, go Nathan out there on the racetrack, cheered on Nathan Nixon, as Power Operator says, good race, guys. Great racing there late in this one. And then let's take a look back here. We saw some more issues after we took that white flag, and there were some problems a little deeper in the field, and it moved Nick Gardner up into position number 4 here. Let's take a look and see what happened. Is Joshua Moore kind of right in the middle of it. They're trying to get around Matt Hayden, and down out of corner number 4, they make some contact, and there you go. Moore and Gustafson tied together. There goes the 96 right. He goes around Kevin Winker. He gets tied up in it. Heavy hits right there for K-Dub. Oh, man, tough break there for him. He almost slipped through there and almost able to pick up a top 10 here this afternoon as, oh, man, just down low, gets a big piece of the 96. The 0-5 ride having such a good run for Joe Bennett and Charles Gettings. We did see the 0-0 ride of Nate Cogdell. He's also going to get clipped right there as the 42's trying to just hang on to that car, get it pointed back in the right direction. That's where we see Austin Gustafson go around again as well. The back straightaway, him and that 46 of Barry, they get tied together here on the back stretch as our race winner down across the line. Nathan Nixon able to get it done, and carnage back there unfolding behind him. Colton Hardy, he'll take it as Hardy comes home in position at number. This DirecTV thing is right in the way here, chat. Why is it there? As Nathan Nixon picks up the win, he's able to blow that motor up down there on the front straightaway after getting the job done here in this one. We'll get ready to pull him up into the broadcast booth here for his post-race interview after what was a wild finish to this race, man. That was a crazy one right down to the very end. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, our race winner, Nathan Nixon.
Thank you very
Nathan,
much.
it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Nathan, man, what a run, what a race. Take us back through this one, man, as it seemed like not too long ago, you were running into issues. You were going a lap or two down out there on the racetrack. The car was tore up. It looked like maybe your night and your opportunity to win this race was kind of out the window until the slew of late race caution flags. You used some of that pit strategy to your advantage, and then late in this one, just putting the muscle down and putting that pedal to the metal and being able to slide around Colton Hardy and Matt Hayden and being able to pick up a big win here at Dover International Speedway, man. Take us back through this race, and what's going through your mind right now as you're parked up there in victory lane?
I definitely did not think this is how it was going to end. I thought I was going to be lucky to finish on the lead lap, and just how the cautions fell at the end is pretty much what saved me, because when me and Dow got together, which I hated, it was just a racing deal. And then I guess I had too much damage because then I just self-spun. I don't even know what happened. And then I was like, well, let's see. Maybe I can squeeze a decent finish out of this. And then it just turned a little carnage. And then I had no more tires. So my strategy was made for me. And I just was hoping that those guys that pit and took tires had too much trouble getting through traffic and between the cautions. And I think they had a little bit of trouble. But I still didn't think I had anything for Matt or Colton. And then when we took off one of those last restarts, I was like, wait, I think I can hang with them. And we kind of broke off. And it sucks because I think it would have been a good finish regardless. I don't know who would have won. There was a lap car that Matt had to check up, and Colton and I luckily didn't get together. It was a very fun ending that I did not foresee.
Absolutely, definitely a bit of a surprise out there on the racetrack as you were able to battle your way back up to the front of the field and make those late race moves and put yourself up into victory lane. And sometimes that lap traffic, it can hurt you or it can help you. And here in this one, it helped you as it made them kind of check up, allowed you to steamroll around and steal this win away from them as you pull that 40 ride up and into the Dover International Speedway victory lane. Nate, who would you like to thank, man, for another great run, strong race, and a big checkered flag here this evening?
First and foremost, I know a lot of my family was watching and my wife, so that for letting me race and supporting me, and then my teammates. It sucks that they didn't get to finish, but I held the fort down for us, Revved Racing guys, and of course, Sparkle and Shine, anything EC, Mr. Sean Kozier, and it's funny that I switched my paint scheme for this race just to change it up, just because the first 3 races I'd done another one, and that was my main Sparkle and Shine scheme, and then I switched to my Rock Solid rigs, and here I am. So just want to make sure and thank Mr. Kozier for everything he does.
Absolutely, man. What a run. What a race, though, for you as you pull that 40 right up and into victory lane. Nate, congrats on the dub here this afternoon. Many more to come potentially here throughout the rest of this season. And hopefully some better luck for your teammates out there. But off to a hot start so far, man. And we saw Madden being able to pick up the checkered flag there in Daytona. And now we see you up here in victory lane in race number 3 of the regular season. And you guys are off to a pretty hot start.
Yeah, I think Dow won last week,
Dow
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's
So,
correct, yeah.
Rev
So
Racing, baby.
Rev Racing winning the first 3 races of the season, man. Who's going to be able to stop him? Who's going to be able to knock you guys off the top spot, man? It's going to be a wild one right down to the wire here, I think, for the playoffs this year. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see all the action and all the chaos that unfolds out there on the Speedway next Monday. But Nathan, congrats on the win. Congrats on the great race, brother. And we can't wait to see you back in action out there on the racetrack tomorrow night in the HDK Eagles Truck Series.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, and thank you for your awesome broadcast. You do a great job.
I appreciate that, brother. Have a great night, and don't party too hard down there in Victory Lane.
No promises.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Nathan Nixon as Nixon picks up the dub and pulls himself up and into victory lane here this afternoon. And Sarah Nixon says, go Nate, number 40. Says, congrats, brother. Congratulating his brother out there on the racetrack as Nathan Nixon gets it done and picks up the win here this evening as we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher here, or that second place driver, the 97 of Colton Hardy. So close to tasting victory here himself, but has to settle in for a second place run. Hey Colton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Colton, man, a strong run, a great drive out there for you all night long. Seemed like this 97 was up inside the top 2, top 3 pretty much all evening here. And then late in this race, making some moves, battling there for that race win. Unfortunately, just kind of slipped the racetrack, allowed Nathan Nixon down low to seal this one away from you. He just couldn't quite get back to him there to try to get back underneath of him to take that race lead back away and to settle in for a second place finish. But man, strong run, strong showing. How do you feel out there on the racetrack? What's going through your mind right now as that checkered flag is thrown?
Yeah, of course, you got the dejection of what could have been and what was right there in front of me, but pleasantly surprised. I mean, I went into this race and expected to be in the back and expected to be a part of most of the problems tonight, but I don't know. Everything went our way. We started 6th or 7th, and I don't think we went back behind that other than pit stops, which, I mean, like I said, I'm pleasantly surprised with myself and with how the track drove tonight. And everybody up in the top 5 or so there that we were racing with all night, they were really given a lot of respect and a lot of room. And I was able to find a little bit more long run speed later in those runs, but in the end of it, I didn't have enough there. I was pushing it a little bit too hard trying to catch Matt, and Matt got held up by the lap truck. And by that time, my tires were pretty well shot. So, I mean, Nathan earned it hard, and he earned it good. So I can't say anything about that. He did great.
Yeah, absolutely. Good, hard racing there at the front of the field late between the three of you. And right there behind you, you saw a calamity of other drivers trying to get up into that battle, including, Nick Gardner and, Joshua Moore and so many other fast cats right there nipping on your guys' heels. But, man, it seemed like you had a very, very fast truck all evening. Seemed like you maybe had enough left in the tank there to jump up there and battle with Matt Hayden for the race win. But all these caution flags just kind of kept you back there at bay. Every time you kind of got a couple laps going or a lap going there, you kind of got settled into that second position, hoping to see those longer runs. You just never really had them come out and just kept seeing those yellow flags. Was that kind of a killer for you there to potentially not put yourself into victory lane, or what you could have done is pull away and win this race if you were able to catch up and make that move around Matt?
There was a lot of expletives said by me every time the caution came out because I just felt like especially early, whenever we got those first 1 to 2 cautions there, like it would stay green for a lap, and I felt like I was right on Matt's butt and I could pass him. And then next thing you know, caution's out, we're slowing down again, and the tires are going through a heat cycle. And yeah, I was pretty frustrated because we went stage 1 completely green and then had a green flag run there in the end, or in the middle there, with a green flag pit stop. So battling for 20th and trying to wreck, you gotta weigh what's more important. But I mean, I understand accidents happen and stuff, but it's frustrating, especially when you know that you could have a chance to pass the guy that's in front of you and you're running for second. The laps just keep clicking down. It's beyond frustrating.
Absolutely, brother. Well, you're able to come home in position number 2 here this afternoon. Still a solid points day here at the racetrack, and looking strong, looking steady here early on in the season. Obviously, going to try to build off this good run. The momentum here going to be built up for you. Maybe more opportunities for you to try to push yourself up into victory lane here throughout this long season. As Colton, you come home in position number 2 here in the Big Red Customs Diecast 150 at Dover International Speedway. Man, who'd you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack?
I'd like to thank all my teammates, Nate Cogdale, Kevin Winker, Skylar Berry, and then, of course, Race Control David. He hangs out with us and makes his calls in there. I'd like to thank my sponsor, QH Design, Nate, for getting me a pretty cool-looking truck this year. It reminds me of a bag of hot Cheetos. So the Winning Bid, Diecast, check them out. They're one of the top-notch guys when it comes to finding diecast, new diecast, autographed diecast, cards, card breaks, everything. Thanks my fiance for letting me do the racing, and thanks to you for putting on a good show as always.
Absolutely, brother. Always my pleasure to be up here in the booth and watching you guys do your thing out there on the speedway. Colton, congrats on the great run, congrats on the great drive, and hopefully next Monday we'll see you right back up here on the broadcast booth, maybe one spot better, and up into victory lane yourself.
Hey, I appreciate it, Peacemaker.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Yep, you too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Colton Hardy. Is Colton coming home there in position number 2? Solid run, solid drive there for that 97 ride. I'm sure we'll see him back up here for many more trips into the broadcast booth. I'm sure one of these nights we'll see that 97 ride up here in victory lane. And another driver that looked bound for potentially victory lane here late in this race is that 5 ride. Our third place finisher here, Matt Hayden. Hayden coming home there in third. Let's get him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Matt, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Take a copy.
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Matt, man, a strong run, a great race here for you this afternoon. Obviously, some different strategies out there affecting your race a couple times, as we did see entering that long green flag run. Elect to come down pit side there, and unfortunately went a lap down. Had to get the wave around and trying to race your way back up through the field. And then, obviously a lot of these caution flags, a lot of carnage here late in the race, and all of a sudden you find yourself back out in front after a lot of these other drivers come down pit road. You just stick with it. Stay out there on the speedway, and all of a sudden you got this late race lead. You're hitting these restarts, you're keeping them back there at bay, and more caution laps continue to get clicked off the board. And late in this one, man, you're just trying to hang on to it, but it got a little crazy there between you, Nixon, Hardy. You guys were duking it out there for the race lead. Obviously, lap traffic ended up playing a role in that as well, and might have affected your opportunity to maybe battle back and try to take this race win back away from Nixon.
Yeah, I was going to say, overall, I mean, we got to be happy because we had, obviously a good run last week, and finish-wise, we had a good run this week. So, Be interested to see how points kind of shake out. We had a good stage too. If we can't pull out a win in one of these things, like it feels like, then we just got to take every opportunity points wise. So, yeah, man, I don't know. It was kind of a crappy way to end that thing. And then, yeah, we had kind of trying to play a little different to those guys that pit that early caution after stage. We tried to go out and play the track position, and then it kind of went green, and then kind of thought that maybe we need to try to get out front as far as we can and let those guys try to work through traffic, and then short pit. So since we were inside the window to do a two-stop, we were within like 100 laps or whatever. And of course, pit and made it around a lap and a half, and then the caution came out, and we were just fortunate we got a wave around at the tail end there. We had one car ahead of us that had damage. Unfortunate for him, fortunate for us. And then it was just balls out, run aggressive from there. Just another race coming up short. So it is what it is. It's early in the season though, so I feel like we're strong. We got a lot of opportunities, a lot of good races on the schedule this year, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, another strong performance, another great race here for you tonight, man. And one of these nights, it's got to go your way. It's got to be a lucky break for you out there somewhere. And potentially, next week or one of these next races coming up, you can find yourself into victory lane and trying to lock yourself into those playoffs, trying to make sure that you can be a part of the playoff system here this year and trying to pick up that championship. And as you said, kind of stacking those pennies, getting these good finishes. It all comes together. It all helps you out a lot out there on the speedway, whether or not you find victory lane or you don't. Being able to earn these bonus points or trying to earn extra points throughout the regular season to go for that regular season championship as well, always so important out there on the speedway for those playoffs when they start here in a few months from now. Is we got a lot of racing, as you said, man, a lot of races, a lot of racing left before the playoffs even get started and before the end of the season. I'm sure without a doubt, one of these nights they're going to go your way, man. You've shown that you got that fast truck, you got some great speed, and you're going to find that one racetrack where it's going to go, maybe clean and green. It's going to go your way, and you'll be able to find yourself up here celebrating at the end of one of these races.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Yeah, it's like I said, there's some tracks on the schedule we've got circled. I don't. Kentucky was one I think that was circled. We felt good about that. Dover really did not expect to run that well. But yeah, there's some tracks that we're looking forward to, and some that we're just looking to survive. So, hey, man, we're just gonna keep marching forward and see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Matt, a great run, a strong performance out there on the racetrack for you, brother. Who'd you like to thank for such a great run, great drive out there on the speedway?
Yeah, I want to thank Team Misfit Motorsports, all the guys, obviously practice and getting kind of the line tuned in. Thank those guys for that. I want to thank everything Central Arkansas Karting Complex, guys over at Chicane Sim Lounge in Little Rock, and everybody else for watching, and you for putting on the broadcast for us, man. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Matt, great run, great race, great performance. We can't wait to see you back in action next Monday and potentially right back up here on the broadcast booth, maybe a couple spots better into victory lane yourself.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Matt Hayden. It's Hayden coming home here in position number 3 in the Metalheads Truck Series. The Big Red Customs Diecast 150 from Dover International Speedway. Man, that was a lot of fun. That was a heck of a race right there. What's good, Mr. Wood? Mr. Wood coming in and says, hey, fellow West Virginian and a fellow Matt right there. Yeah, another Matt from West Virginia in the the streams here, man. Another Matt out there in West Virginia, brother. Maybe you guys will have to link up or maybe start racing together. Maybe we'll have to make a West Virginia clan or something. Get them onto the team, Matthew. Get them onto the team. You can be Team Matt's out there on the Speedway. As Matt Hayden coming home there in third, but it's all Nathan Nixon here in this one, rebounding nicely and finding his way up and into victory lane, man. What a run, what a drive, and what a performance there for Matthew, or not for Matthew, but for Nathan Nixon here this afternoon. But man, great run, great race, great show. A lot of caution flags out there, but man, it diced things up. It made things interesting out there on the Speedway, and everyone just trying to survive. And then the battle there at the end, down to that checkered flag, man. It was a tight one. It was a close one. Door to door, 2 wide, 3 wide, door to door in our closing laps. And right there at the end, Nathan Nixon able to pull ahead and pick up the checkered flag here this afternoon, man. What a show, what a race, what a performance here for the Metalheads Truck Series. And we can't wait to see them back in action next Monday, but we'll be back in action tomorrow night. More NASCAR truck racing as the HCK Beagles will go to battle here tomorrow afternoon. And you'll see majority of these drivers back in action tomorrow night as well. So if you want to see them duke it out again and have some more fun, have some more great racing there on the racing surfaces here with these NASCAR trucks, make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming and be able to enjoy these guys back in action again tomorrow night. But we'll see you guys here tomorrow evening. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all later. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your night, and thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all later. Woo! What a run, what a race, what a drive, man. That was a heck of a show. A lot of fun out there on the Speedway.
Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like a beast. Black top, jungle feast on chaos, crave the grease. 180 miles of asphalt and forgiven. In this chaos driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother trains chasing speed and money. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Hit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop or burst into flames. Pulling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Running from the dreams, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Turbocharged hawk, piston pumping like a beast. Black top jungle, feast on chaos, crave the grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's a trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Burn brother dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop or burst into flames. Pulling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Running from the dreams, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line.